Hey, Triple Cross, welcome back to Hunting Dubs. We're hunting dubs today. We're going to throw a fun wrinkle into this. We're back on MLB The Show 23 on Diamond Dynasty, like usual. But today, we're also going to hold ourselves to the restriction of only using captain cards in our lineup here. So these are just some of the captains that I have on our squad. We're going to have this be our lineup. We got Ian Happ in left. We got Byron Buxton in center. Bryce Harper in right field. We got this good old guy. I never forget his name. Oh, yeah. Him. He's a catcher. He's playing first base for us. He's the Orioles catcher. Can't really pronounce that name. That's a nightmare. We got JT Realmuto behind the dish. Aaron Judge will be our DH. Manny Machado over at third. Derek Jeter at second. And Jose Altuve at second. That was the weirdest order ever possible to describe a lineup in baseball. But that's what we're going to run with today. That's our starting lineup. So we're going to jump right back into a game. We're going old school again. We're going CPU play because your boy can't hang. I guess I can't say I can't hang with the live, with like the ranked crowd. It's just not as fun content to do live, maybe. Maybe if I was one of those guys who like recorded and then edited up the video afterwards, it would be a lot more entertaining. But yeah, as is, we need some CPU play to keep things kind of interesting the whole way through. So, see some people starting to come in now. Michael's been hanging out with me behind the scenes already. Mike says, let the hunting dubs begin. I agree. Let's get after it today. We got a whole mess of new cards in the game since the last time that we did hunting dubs. You can see the bottom line up there, the bottom row of cards. They're like the first five. They're all sort of look the same. They have the same sort of design. Those are all brand new cards that the Horse, Mr. Padre, Funky Muncie, Big Fella, Slicknick. I can't remember which ones those are called off the top of my head. Adam might remember, or Michael. I know Michael's been playing as well lately. We don't have a lot of the new cards yet. Honestly, kind of in a lull here for me at least playing MLB The Show. So we're a little bit behind on getting some new cards. I just looked at kind of what that'll take and what I need to focus on to get some new stuff. We'll definitely do some of that, get some new content. Today, we're going to stay true to the fashion of just trying to hunt some dubs. We need kind of a resetting after last week's home run derby, which that was a blast. If you ever wondered who drops the most bombs on our squad, that was the perfect episode to find out. So we're going to take a pitch here. Just start off with a nice, fresh, clean palette. We are going to do our regular giveaways here, guys. So we'll do the $10 a pop rule, and we are going to hopefully get you guys a spin or two at least today. I guess if we don't end up with one home run, we'll probably do one anyway. So right out of the gate, we have a good swing, and that's going to be at least a double. We'll hold it second there. No need to push it. Bryce Harper coming out of the gate swinging, and we like that as he celebrates on second base. Oh, I forgot. I like to put myself in a different spot on the camera here. We'll see based on, yeah, I think around here was like the best place to put me. So we'll go with this. Ooh, I wanted that, but trying to be disciplined today. We're trying to take a pitch. We're trying to see some pitches. Realmuto up second. Maybe a little unconventional, but with this lineup we have going, he's one of the few guys we have with any speed. That one didn't break. Just a clean old fastball. How's it going, Thomas, Deb, Adam? Good to see all you guys here. That one will work. That'll drive in a run, and we'll send Realmuto to second, and he'll be fine just hanging out there on second base. All right, off to the races already. Hunting Dubs Nation. What's up? 1-0. We're playing the Singers today, so pretty cool for us. We're gonna watch one again. He started us off with first pitch strike every at bat so far. So far the wait till you see one hasn't necessarily been the best play, but we're not complaining about it. Ooh, got just under that one, just underneath it. We're not going to push our luck on tagging up on that one. Not when we got one out. Not a chance. All right, D-Jack up at the dish, batting cleanup today. Let's see if he can get himself a little ribby here. What do you guys say? Ooh. Yeah, I did see what happened to Ja Morant. Honestly, you know what? This isn't even like one of our regular like podcast episodes, so I feel like easy to be extra unfiltered, but just what an idiot. Just a straight dumbass. Like, what's that guy thinking, man? He's just trying to ruin his whole career? Or, like, not even like trying to be critical of him necessarily, just like be critical of yourself. Like, are you trying to ruin your own life, man? Come on. Like, be selfish about it. Be smarter than that. Make good decisions for yourself. That's not saying that you can't like enjoy guns or anything like that. I definitely don't think that. We might stretch this into a triple. We're going for it. We're in there. Like swimwear. Yeah, Ja Morant just being a straight dumbass out there on IG Live. Real smart. I mean, I get that he is being held to like a different standard than a lot of people. You know, I get that. But he's also being like glorified and like celebrated and paid pretty handsomely above the level of most people as well. So it kind of fits. And again, I don't want anything like negative on the guy, but like if he can't, you know, act according to his like employer's like pretty honestly not that strict of like behavioral policy, like then maybe that's not the best employer for him. Honestly, I mean, I don't really mean that, but like if this doesn't stop, like so quick back to back, the same exact thing really makes the like kind of excuse he gave the first time around feel not so real. Or at least like he was taking it pretty lightly. Like it feels like a lot of lip service. Because I think, you know, I don't follow it as tight. Maybe like John or something would have a better idea of exactly what he said. But to my knowledge, I think he said kind of just said like, oh, you know, I just kind of just being dumb. Like I can't believe like I'm embarrassed about it kind of thing. Like it'll never like this isn't gonna happen again. And then it happens like right away again. So what do you guys think about it? I wanna Adam says Morant's an idiot. Yep. Mike said he's also played the Singers on MLB The Show. Yeah, they're one of the pretty common opponents. You end up playing like the same few teams a lot, even though they're completely different rosters, like when you play them, like each time almost. But yeah, they use like the same logos and stuff over a lot in the different game modes and stuff. So the Singers are right there. They're nowhere near the Cairo Cats. That's probably my nemesis. If I had to pick one. Cairo Cats bother me quite a bit. All right, what else is going on in the chat? Anybody else have any takes on Thomas about the Ja Morant thing? I know he didn't break a law, but doing it on social media, it promotes gun violence. Yeah, I mean, it's not like, you know, I'm not here to say like image is everything because I definitely don't think that. And like I said, you know, like I'm like a Second Amendment supporter, I guess you could say. I mean, we're not really a political show. I'm not trying to get into that, but like I definitely believe you should have the right to own a gun and like have it for, you know, personal protection or even, you know, hunting, things like that. I mean, if you're responsible, honestly, it's kind of nobody's like business. Like it's not like I think we have to like keep tabs on every single gun owner. Like how many bullets did you fire doing XYZ all year round? Like, you know, I think there's diminishing returns on stuff like that as a society, but like to be so reckless, like on IG Live. And I don't know that I actually saw the new video. So I guess I should use my words kind of sparingly. I've seen a lot of people comment on it. I don't actually think I've seen the video yet. So, but if it's kind of like the first one, I mean, I get the general gist of it. Like you're trying to promote an image of yourself, which hopefully is just a facade. I hope he's not like, you know, into like, like shooting people in the club basically kind of thing. Cause that's what it seems like when you're like, you got your gun out, like rapping in a club. As far as I know, that's what the pictures are of. Again, if it was, I'm sure you guys have probably seen more than I have on it, but that's my understanding of it so far. Feel free to correct me. He just apologized for doing it the first time. Yeah, I know. But I feel like the tone of the apology was like, oh, shucks, you know, like I'm just a kid, you know, just a dumb move. Like, you know, which is like, that's fine. And that's actually like a good way to apologize because I think that's how a lot of dumb things happen is just kind of, you know, inexperience or whatever. But the whole point is that he should have gained that experience from the first time around. Like, hey, wasn't that a pretty awful thing to go through? Like, let's at least, like, if it ever happens again, let's at least make sure it doesn't happen right away. And it did happen right away again. So, like, just again, like I said, I'm not even like being super altruistic about it. I'm not saying like you got to be a better person than that. I'm saying, man, you got to be smarter than that for your own like well-being. Like, you're gonna ruin your own life, man. Like, he's already, even if nothing else happens, there's no way his next contract with whichever team it's going to be with is going to be worth the same amount that it would have been if none of this stuff ever happened. Because if nothing else, like, teams are going to use that in negotiations against you, call it like label you a potential liability, or like a, you know, the term in football would be like a locker room, like you're what do they always say? Distraction, locker room distraction. Yeah, if teams can use that against you in a contract negotiation, like how much money does he already cost himself? And I still don't think this is going to be anything that keeps him out of the league for too long. I don't really think the 40-game thing, is that locked in? That's what I saw, is there's a 40-game suspension in play here. If that happens, like that, I guess I would say if that hasn't been locked in, I guess it doesn't end up being that long. But maybe it does. I know the NBA is trying to like figure this stuff out, because you really, like, I don't know. Doesn't seem like you can have that forever. Like, people are pretty sensitive about this type of stuff. And, I mean, rightfully so, obviously. But I will say this, and it's like the worst possible thing. Like, there is also something that, like, if he does end up down the path of, you know, even if it's not from this, but if he ends up with a shorter career than he otherwise would have because he gets kicked out of the league, or just because teams get sick of the publicity around this type of thing, you know, when he could, you know, his skill level, he should be playing as long as he wants, basically. If it doesn't end up that way for him, then, oops, this is not good. If that doesn't end up the way for him, then like he's going to look at all this publicity stuff, all the like his name just being out there in the media all the time. Like, that's going to end up being a good thing for him. And he is going to like get a de facto like bad boy person. Like, it's a weird play. I don't know. I could definitely see why the NBA is not happy with it. You don't want your brand associated with that stuff, especially when you're like, I mean, something like the NBA. They have the biggest sponsors in the world with like the strictest policies on what they're cool with you doing and not doing in your content. It's very interesting when you start this like content slash advertiser type of relationship, like what each side is like most interested in, you know, like what makes it, what are like deal breakers for one side or the other type of thing. All right, we got 2 outs here. Not a lot of speed out there. We're up 2-0. No home runs yet. Bryce Harper up again, though. He got a hold of one in the first inning. He's going to hit that same gap shot, but that's not getting out. We're going to score another one, though. Ribby for Bryce Harper. Bad boys are expendable, says Adam. I mean, yes. Especially in the NBA, because they aren't looking for them. Like, you know, I hate to say it, but in like other forms of media, like, it's kind of not that way. Like, sometimes that image can be helpful, but not in the NBA. You know, because I mean, obviously he thinks that's like a gangster type of thing or something. Like, you know, so it's just weird. It's like he doesn't know like what business he's in. Like, dude, just make more selfish decisions for yourself. Be smarter about it. I don't know. Anyway, this is not the John Morant show, so we don't have to talk about him. But what else is going on in the sports world? What else you guys want to chat about? Any other topics out there that you're dying to talk about while we're just sitting here hunting dubs? I think we're going to get this dub, by the way. Interested, Adam, what are you, any new cards you rock in here from the season 2? For those who don't know, season 1 is over in the show. I haven't really played an MLB game in a while, so this is kind of funky to me. I think this is actually like the first one that I'm actually like playing where they're doing like this season swap, meaning that some of the cards are kind of like going extinct or becoming less usable, or like we're halfway to that point, really. I don't know. It's kind of, I haven't been in the show culture for a long time, so interested on any of those thoughts, because I know, Adam, you play too. But I did see that it's a massive content drop. Looks like there's like double the amount of cards in the game, basically, almost. And a lot of cool ones for sure. I got my eye on a Future Star card that I'm going to be getting here in just not too long. Center fielder for the Red Sox. His name escapes me right now, but he's the most Casey center fielder you could have. He's like all speed and defense, so naturally we're getting that guy for the squad. So Adam got the season 1 Kendra. What? One sec. Let me throw this guy out real quick. Pah! You're out of there. Oh, Ken Griffey Jr. Got it. The 99 Ken Griffey Jr. Oh yeah, that was the is that the Battle Royale grind that you had to do for that? Yeah, talk to text. Yeah, it's a nightmare. 98 Yastrzemski. Ooh, very cool. That's sick. I haven't gotten a lot of new cards yet, but I mean, I did get a lot of like new cards for the account towards the end of season 1 in the last like couple weeks there, like that I didn't show on stream and stuff either. So I've been like using a bunch of random cards like the last few times I've played, which hasn't been a ton lately, but we have made the move. I've got the main thing I feel like I've acquired a lot of lately have been like other first basemen, which is weirdly was just like a weak spot on my overall roster. Like I didn't have a lot of first basemen I liked, so I've been rocking this like Manny Machado over at first base for forever, secondary position, because he was still like 83 or 82 or something with my parallels I had in him. So a really good defensive first baseman, which I think is important, given that like his fielding will make it so he can like recover on like other players' bad throws. So yeah, I never really wanted to take that hit, and I didn't have any like good hitting ones that were any better. So I was like, well, Manny Machado hits fine, so we'll use him. And then it felt like I pulled like 2 or 3 guys who were like other fine options for that. So we went for the dive, didn't work out. That's okay. 60 speed runner, it was kind of worth the risk. He was probably going to get 2 out of that anyway. So, oh shoot, what the heck was that? What the heck was that? I didn't think that was that bad of a throw. I don't think I've ever had that animation before, actually. Wow. Okay. Well, we gave up a 3-bagger there. Let's just get it out here. Or we could just give him the run so we can get a save attempt and get more experience out of this. Kind of hack the game a little. Maybe we'll just do that. I don't know. What was I talking about? I just got sidetracked. I was pulling cards that just randomly worked for first base. So I put Manny back at third base at his natural position, which I honestly never really even tried using him at. And he's just like a vacuum over there. I've got this is the captain, Manny Machado. Yeah, he's killing it at third base, where, like I said, I never even gave him a tryout for the squad. He was just de facto first baseman forever. So cool to see him at third. But that means we've been playing without Alex Bregman for a minute too. So not ideal. Haven't had him in the squad, but yeah, I haven't played the game enough. Yeah, that error was pretty bad. That was on me. I'm just not like, just wasn't dialed for that, I guess. I didn't think it was that bad a throw though. I thought that was like borderline fine. I didn't expect to get an out or anything on it, but I didn't think it was getting past him. That might have been a fielding thing, honestly. I'm using a lot of randoms with this lineup. Going all captains. So, yeah, Jerry Hairston was a card that I was looking at that I'll probably end up getting. I think he's like, if I'm not mistaken, isn't he one of the early rewards just in like season 2 experience? He's one of the options. He was looking like the option I was probably going to go to. So probably pretty close to getting him, or actually, no, I guess I don't have any season 2 cards really that I'm using. So I need to get those guys into my lineup so that I start getting season 2 experience. So I'll start racking up those rewards. Like I said, I'll kind of dive more into that and worry about that on like a next stream maybe. But yeah, for this one, I just wanted to throw together this captain squad because I've been using a bunch of different variations of these guys anyway. So why not just keep using some captains for a minute and actually do one on a stream. Get back to Ian Happ. I know he had a featured home run on like our socials when he earned somebody. Who won the? Does anybody here remember if they won the Ian Happ, the happening spin? Can't remember off the top of my head who won that, but I remember it got made into a short. So that was posted on like Instagram and stuff. Yeah. Dang, does anybody know who the Boston center fielder I'm thinking of? He's a Future Stars. He's a reward in the season 2 Team Affinity program. Man, it's gonna drive me crazy. It's not like he's somebody like I was super aware of, but once I hear his name, I'm gonna remember it, I think. Get through, come on. Okay. Well, like I said, maybe we give up a run and we try to get somebody a save attempt here. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep calling. It's kind of one thing I found, Mike, if you're like just picking it up now and trying to grind out experience, honestly, if you're like trying to grind through these like mini season games, which I think is probably the best way to go in my experience, at least, it's like probably the best bang for your buck just to like kind of play however much you want. And you'll always get like good rewards for the most part, as long as you're like using the right cards that'll like give you rewards. But yeah, if you do this, you can kind of game the system by like trying to give your pitchers, like trying to manufacture stats for them. Basically, it's not a bad strategy I've found in these 3-inning games. Like if you have a lead like this, like it doesn't matter too much. You might as well keep the starter and then just let him eat. Let the big dog eat. Honestly, the stamina hasn't been a huge factor either for me. I don't notice a huge like loss of control for most of the guys as long as they have a good card. It's not Yoshida, Mike, but it might be Duran actually. Is that? No, maybe. Maybe I won't remember his name, but it's not Yoshida. I know that. No, I don't know if there is a Yoshida card, like other than like maybe like a core one. But I would probably use it. I like the crossover guys from my fantasy team. I mean, I actually don't know if I have any crossover guys anymore. I've like leaned towards them a little bit, but they don't end up. Ooh, we're gonna get there. Dive. There was no risk. Ground rule double. There's so many ground rule doubles in the show. Way more than in MLB. Way more. Yeah, for anybody who is on and watching, we are doing $10 MLB Shop gift card giveaways for every home run I hit. Wow, got that one. We'll do that after the stream. That's how we'll end the stream, is with any gift cards that we've earned for the chat. You can qualify to win one of those gift cards by joining us over on Playback. Really cool platform that we are using more and more all the time. We consider that platform our VIP people from this community. So if you want to be one of our VIPs and be eligible to win gift cards on all of our streams when we're doing them live like this, then go ahead and follow the link in the description. Join us on Playback. And welcome to Huntin' Dubs. If this is your first experience watching, whether it's live with me now or afterwards, after the fact, and you're watching this video later on YouTube or Twitch or whatever, welcome to Huntin' Dubs. We just hunted down a dub from the Singers. Garrett Cole getting the win. Matt Cain with the loss. Let's take a little look at the tail of the game. Real Muto and Bryce Harper both with a pair of doubles. Real Muto with 2 RBIs and Harper with 2 runs scored. And then one of the other, you can see the screen. Altuve 1 for 2 with a triple and an RBI. Derek Jeter 1 for 2 with a double. I mean, we were low-key hitting pretty good there with our return back to mini seasons. Mini seasons isn't bad for actual like gameplay content, if I'm being honest. I like it better than playing the lives. If I had like a couch co-op thing going on, I've seen other channels where they have multiple people in the room playing when you're doing like ranked gameplay. And I think that might be kind of a good way to do it, because I feel like when you're playing, it's just when you're playing human to human, you need kind of your mental faculties focused on the game, because you're in a chess match kind of with another human person, not with a computer that you can sort of do some pattern analysis stuff on pretty easily. Let's just keep rolling. Let's keep rolling with this captain squad. We'll play a game. We will give our start. So we did start off with Captain Garrett Cole on the bump in the last game. So I don't know if we actually have another. I don't know if we actually have another captain starter available right here. I don't think we do, but I do know that I'm trying to get something done with Sandy. So we're going to let Sandy get the start. We're going to keep with the captains, at least in the lineup, in the positional lineup. You'll forgive me if we use a core card in Sandy Alcantara for our starting pitcher, at least. So, yeah. So Mike says the Red Sox center fielder is Duran. He just got him in fantasy baseball. He is off to a good season. How do you get captain cards, Casey? I haven't gotten one yet. So, yeah, you're gonna. I mean, it's not necessarily the most fascinating part if you're like super into like actually playing the actual baseball games, like the actual live action part of the game. But if you are going to play Diamond Dynasty, at least a good amount, it's worth kind of like looking through the programs. And there's a lot now if you're joining like at this point in the game. When I was first playing, like I said, I haven't been playing like a lot at all year to year. I haven't played an MLB The Show game in like multiple years. And I don't know if even then I never played Diamond Dynasty then. I only played like franchise mode offline. So this is all pretty new to me. So when I started this year, there were fewer programs. It was easier to kind of just like look through everything and try to like get a feel for like what's even going on in this game. Like it seems like I can get all kinds of rewards. Like what do I even want to try to get? So that's what I would recommend first. Even that there's more now, kind of there's a lot more to go through, but there's a lot more rewards available. And if you take a look ahead at the different programs and which cards are available as rewards down the line, you'll know kind of which game modes you want to focus on more or less, so that you can kind of have some gravity towards those rewards that you know you kind of prefer. And you'll also find like team need is a pretty big factor into that. I can say one thing, if you're just starting to line up now, I can guarantee you that before you fill out like a great squad of hitters, squad meaning like the whole diamond and your 4 guys on your bench, before you fill out like a great version of all of that, you're probably going to fill up on like enough starting pitchers to be like plenty good. Relievers aren't even that hard to come by. There's not a huge need for a ton of relievers, honestly, unless you're trying to like make a super well-rounded bullpen for some reason. But if you honestly, if you didn't care about content or like using a bunch of different guys, you could get by with just a few studs. Same thing with starting pitchers, really. I use most of my pitchers just to activate captain bonuses. That's a whole nother thing. So the whole point of saying all that is there's going to be certain positions you want to prioritize, and other positions that are just like the pitching that I've noticed are specifically like corner outfielders, guys who you could plug in at like left or right field. Not incredible at defense maybe, but like a good bat, and they have to kind of fit somewhere in the outfield. They're a dime a dozen. Like I've had probably 15 guys where I was like, oh, this guy's going to be like my left fielder for forever. And then like the next card I get, I'm like, oh, never mind. He's out of the lineup. This new guy's better. Just keeps happening kind of. Another big thing is like right field is I would prioritize like center field. It's just, I love having good outfielders. That's just kind of how I like baseball in general. So on the game, that's kind of what I lean towards anyway. But for prioritizing outfielders, you can put your worst outfielder in left field. If you're trying to hide a good bat into a spot in the outfield, definitely use left field. Certain philosophies of baseball you might think right, but I wouldn't say that on MLB The Show at all. I think for sure right field is a mega important position, especially when it comes to like arm for the throws to third or to home. And you'll get some, if you do play online and stuff, you'll get some people who want to like be aggressive on the base pass. So an arm, especially in right field and in center, I think is super important. But yeah, I kind of prioritize defense over offense when it comes to the outfielders, just because. Oh, yeah, we hit him. Oops. Well, if you're gonna hit somebody, not the worst choice. Yeah, Sandy's pretty tired already, so you might lose a little accuracy with a guy like this. But yeah, that's probably my biggest tip for roster building is like learn what to prioritize. So, but in case that wasn't clear, then like great like defensive center fielders aren't that easy to find who are still like decent at the plate. But you can find them. Like I said, that Boston guy, I'll highly recommend him big time. You can look in programs. So for Mike, if you're trying to find that kind of thing, it's in programs, team affinity, and then you'll want to go to like the season 2 ones, which should be like right at the top now, and it'll be the AL East. And then you just look at the reward packs that'll pop up along the timeline. You can scroll to the right to what you'll get in the future, and he's one of the future stars. So he's in one of the first packs. Like, it's not that hard to even get there. You can get to that by just doing the moments in that same program, which moments are like little isolated events. I did 4 or 5 or 5 out of the 6, whatever it is. I left only 1 from there. So maybe that's actually what we could go do after this one. Is, since we're talking about it, maybe I can actually go show you guys this after this game. I'd love to hit a home run, but tell you what, I mean, you guys kind of know the deal by now if you've been here before, but if I don't hit any home runs, we're still going to do one spin and give away at least a $10 gift card to the MLB shop. So no worries there. But, ooh. Okay. Give me a pitch, guy. Let's go. This one's it. I'm going to put it out. That way I can go show you guys the program I'm talking about. Okay. I wanted that to be it, but it just wasn't. Okay. This guy doesn't want to pitch to me. It's okay. That's not. I mean, the center fielder was so casual about that. Just jogging over there. I do play the programs and the moments. Yeah. So I don't know how far you are on that AL East season 2 program, team affinity program, but that's the one I did look through. At least that part of the season 2 rewards, I looked through all of the team affinity because I found like that's kind of the easiest one to control, because you can just throw a bunch of like low cards from that team in your lineup if you got them, because you just collect a ton of cards, way more than I was expecting. Honestly, it becomes borderline unmanageable at a certain point. But you can just throw in a bunch of guys from, like, if you need, the Yankees or whatever, like you can just toss a bunch of low-level Yankees in, or like just use only Yankees pitchers for like 2 or 3 games, and you're gonna hit probably whatever goal you're trying to get with that team. I find it's just really easy to control and like make sure you're getting a good amount of steady rewards for like the amount of games you play and stuff. Because if you do the wrong game modes, you're not necessarily going to, which is a bummer. Okay, he has no control over the sinker. That wasn't even a bad pitch, and that ended up so far off the plate. And maybe Sandy's just too tired to go on. I'd love to grab a lead. So this might be a good example of like a strategy for trying to optimize experience for pitchers. So since we're in a close game, the bullpen is more than likely going to get utilized. So I'm just going to be boring and like toss up Hader and maybe like Diaz, somebody like that. Just depending on whether I want to bring in a righty or a lefty. But since it's a close game, what I really am looking to do is grab a lead for Alcantara here and then get him out of the game so that he's like eligible to get the win. So he's the pitcher of record, and then just get him out because he's not really like, he doesn't have any energy left. Not that that's like a big issue, but still, like once he can get the win, that's more important than getting like a few more outs with him. So I'd rather give the game to somebody better. Excuse me. That water was colder than I expected, which was nice and refreshing. Oh, come on. That was a swing. Come on, Blue. Here we go. Oh, whoa. Why was that? Okay. All right. That was on me. I was kind of surprised where the line was on that one. Here I was in high hopes that we'd get a double play with whoa. Good old Manny Machado. But did not happen. The the meter was not what I expected on that. I just kind of went off of like rhythm, which is normally fine, but maybe because his arm strength is so much better than like a Bregman or somebody else we'd normally have. I don't know. That was weird. Just not where I expected it. That was on me. Okay. All right, boys. We're stealing bags. All right. We're trying to win the game. I get it. Good luck. Good luck. Get back. Okay, let's see here. Does it matter a lot when you have some players out of position? Because you have 2 players out of position, Mike. Yeah, it matters a lot. You'll see it in their, like in their little spider graph type of thing. I don't know the little pie chart that like expands kind of thing of their stats. You'll see the out of position penalty applied to like their fielding and their arm. I mean, it's going to affect fielding, arm, and arm accuracy and reaction. It might even affect their speed. Can't remember the speed or not. Shouldn't affect their hitting, which is nice. So the bat is good still, but you'll see it on defense more than likely. If they're if they're like a super stud. Oh no, this is the guy. This is actually the guy I was talking about, Mike. Sedan Rafaela. I think that's the guy who has a Future Stars card in Affinity Season 2. AL East. Okay, but back to the out of position thing. Yes, you will definitely notice it. I highly recommend not doing it. If you have a defensive stud, like a Biggio type of guy, first of all, he has like good overall defense and everything like that. And he's very versatile. You can use him at a ton of positions. But so it makes it kind of seem like, oh, he's the kind of guy who would probably play better if I needed to play him completely out of position, not just at like a secondary one. So if you didn't know, there's one primary position for every card. You know, let's take Biggio, for example. He's the second baseman. That is his primary position. Then if you click into the player card, they'll have a list of secondary positions. Some of them don't have any. But Biggio, for example, has like catcher, center field, and I want to say left field. Maybe like a shortstop too. I don't know for sure. So he can play all of those with like a minimal penalty to his fielding and his throwing arm and stuff like that. You can still see it. Like a good way to check is to like put him on the bench and just look at what it shows, and then just plug him in at like catcher, and then you'll see like, oh, he took a little bit of hit on his throwing arm. Okay, he's still totally usable at catcher. He's still probably my favorite catcher in the game to use, just because he's such a good hitter compared to most catchers, and he's so fast compared to most catchers. But if I took Biggio, even a known utility guy, wow. Oh, that's a heartbreaker, guys. Altuve almost got us our home run. If I threw Biggio, though, at like third base, where he's completely out of position, not just a secondary position, he would be absolutely terrible, more than likely. Not worth really throwing somewhere like that. I guess if they are like a super stud, I have seen weirdly, like I had once, can't remember what the situation was. I think it was actually taking the Manny Machado core card that I've had a lot of Manny Machados for some reason. I've had like every version of him in the game so far. I think there was a weird exception to the rule where like I saw he was like fine out of position at like second base. It was just weird. He like didn't take much of a hit at all. So maybe there's something like card to card a little bit that affects stuff, but as the vast rule, like just look at what you're doing and like be cognizant of like how their skills are changing, at least know what you're getting yourself into. But secondary positions are fine usually, as long as the guy is, you know, he's not going to get better going to a secondary position, but they're plenty usable. I use a lot of cards at their secondary position. I don't use any cards out of position though. So that was a long-winded way to say, yeah, put them where they belong. Get down. End of the second. All right, 0-0. Yeah, it can be a while until you get like a lineup that you're kind of feeling and kind of rocking and rolling with. But we're gonna keep them in. Why not? It can be a minute before you really like get a group that you click with. But once it does, the cool thing is it never really like goes back the other way. Like all of a sudden you just have all these cool cards to default back to. So you actually feel pretty comfortable like experimenting with new cards that come in. and you will want to, because I found that that's when the rewards really kicked up for me, is when I started paying attention. Nice little play by Jeets, by the way, not to like take that for granted. Nice play there on the stretch from who do we have at first base right now? Oh, that's right, Ruxman or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it can be a minute before you get the guys that you like, but you should look for cards that offer, like the Team Affinity, for example. There'll be like cards that you get as rewards that you'll want to plug in even if you don't like them, because most of them you only need to get them 200 experience points, the parallel experience points, which is not that much to get. You can get that with just about any card with like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 games maybe. Like, I don't know, feels like a random number, but probably. As long as they're getting like a couple of at-bats every game kind of thing. I mean, they get a few hits every now and again. That goes a long ways. If it's a pitcher, it's even easier. Just like put him in, don't take him out. Like start him even if he has no energy. You can get through those things like real quick. I think for the pitchers in those programs, their like threshold for a bonus is, I was thinking fastball. Their threshold is like 600, which is still like really easy to get to. That's like 2 or 3 starts. I don't know, depending on kind of how you do. Yeah, no problem, Mike. Hope it helps. Yeah, like I said, it can be a lot, especially if you're jumping in like just recently. There's a lot of programs, but it's probably worth the time it takes to go take a look at what the rewards are. And then especially if you find that you like the rewards in a program, like how do I get points into this program? And in a lot of them, the Team Affinity especially, really all the programs, you'll find that there's just certain cards that you get that it's like, oh, I have like tasks I need to complete with this guy, and I'll get like a bunch. And once you start, like, I get to a point where I put like all of those guys in my lineup, so I'm just like kind of like mass hit a bunch of like tasks finishing all at once, and then the points kind of flood in for whatever program that is, and all of a sudden you have like a ton of stuff. So yeah, like you're not really at that huge of a disadvantage starting 2 weeks ago. That'd be the other thing I'd say. Like, you won't have a lot of the season 1 stuff, but that's like, there's so many options. There we go, baby. There we go. The big man, Aaron Judge, the cheater. We haven't talked about that, I don't think. Aaron Judge, do we think that maybe he got a signal from one of the guys in the dugout just now? Did we hear trash cans? I don't know. Are we running radio interference on the pitch comm? I don't know. Either way, Aaron Judge just hit a bomb out of the park. That's going to be $10 for somebody over on Playback after this stream. So stick around. Join us on Playback if you don't already have an account over there. If you do, it'll be easy. Join us after the stream over on that platform, and we will be giving away $10 to the MLB shop to one of the random jatters over on Playback. So I got us there, guys. I mean, it was right there, like by the skin of our teeth, literally the last pitch of the game. It's kind of how walk-off home runs work. But I'm not gonna lie, that felt pretty good. That felt kind of nice. Let's take a look at the box score here. Oh, I didn't even realize we were playing the Cats. I was just so focused on the conversation. But it feels especially good against the Cairo Cats. Those sons of bitches. I hate the Cats. All right, so let's see. Wow, we only had 2 hits. They only had 1 hit. What a pitcher's duel. Wow, so Jeter had a single. Nice. Jeter had like a single in the second inning, and then first inning maybe. Nope, second inning. And Aaron Judge walk-off in the third. Just killed it. I was like way out. I'm into it. Let's go. All right, I'm going to go take a look at 2 dubs and a home run. Thank you, Mike, for keeping the score. Appreciate that. Feels good. It's a good way to get back on track into the regular format of the show. We did a little bit deeper, like, conversational stuff today. I liked it. It was fun. Talked a little breaking news. That's kind of cool. Got to it before the basketball show with the John Morant thing. So you guys heard the unfiltered version of what Casey thinks on that. And even a little bit on the Aaron Judge thing. although I was just messing around. I don't think he was cheating. I don't know. I didn't hear every single detail probably of that story either. But yeah, I mean, it just seems, I don't know. Maybe he did. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I don't see any proof that he did do it. So the burden of proof is on the accuser for something like that. That's what I think. So somebody would have to make the case to me better than I heard it made. So Mike, if you are looking for like particular cards that I do recommend, I mean, need look no further than like the cards I actually use the most. So any of these guys that are already paralleled to 2, like on their way to 3. So including the Manny Machado captain card, Derek Jeter captain card, Byron Buxton captain card, and the Bryce Harper captain card. Those 4, I've liked all of them. So they are good cards. I would recommend. Let's look at what I was showing you. So I'll show you over here. Programs. We'll look at some of the new stuff that came out. That was probably our last game of the stream. So we're going to go over to Playback here in just a few minutes and do our spins and give away $10 to one lucky chatter over on Playback. So if you are on the stream right now and you want to be eligible to win $10 to the MLB shop, which could even go to buying this game for yourself, by the way, we now know because of Mike, then you could join us over on Playback. Looks like we have a few people over there already. I see Mike, I see Adam, I see Deb, I see Allie. Those are today's VIPs. If you want to be in that group and potentially win $10 to the MLB shop, check out the video description. Head on over to our Playback TV channel and join up over there. We'll be doing that spin not too far from now. We're eyeing maybe 5-10 minutes, something like that. I don't know. We're going to have a little conversation about the programs. And Mike just got the game not too long ago. So we're going to show him kind of what we've found in the game that might be helpful to him. So did I get that wrong? Was this... You were talking about Hairston, and I thought he was in this program. Maybe I was wrong about that. Okay, I don't remember where I saw Hairston, but I remember him. So this is actually what I was talking about during the stream here. This, let me go through that slower. So we just went to programs. We went programs here in Diamond Dynasty. We click in there. We go to Team Affinity right in the middle there. And we're at AL East Season 2. And like I said, if you just start off doing these moments, you can see there's a check mark there under progress. Check mark, check mark, check mark. I just don't have this one done. If I finish that one, that'll be just enough to get me to this 7,500 and get this pack here, which includes this guy. The pronunciation I'm definitely going to butcher here, but Sedan, I guess. I mean, that looks too complicated to just be pronounced Sedan. But Sedan Rafaela. Sorry to that guy if I said his name wrong. It's a 94 card, but here's some of the stuff I look at. Yeah, so maybe a few MLB e-gift cards. Yeah. Wait, so that probably would work for that, right? MLB shop gift cards probably do work for the game, I assume too, right, Mike? I haven't tested that, but moving his eyes during the at-bat, then hitting a homer. Wow. I mean, hey, I don't need to look while I'm hitting home runs. So one of the reasons I love this card, though, he's a center fielder for one. It helps to have an actual good center fielder card, center fielder primary position card. And I'll tell you why, because that's probably in my philosophy for baseball. It's one of the few positions where you don't even want any penalty there. Even if he still is good, you don't want any penalty there. So with him taking no penalty here, we're seeing him at his very best in all these green attributes, those are all the ones that'll get affected if you play him out of position or in a secondary position. A secondary position, usually they go down 4 to 10 at across all those different things. If they're out of position, they go down 70. They just turn into they've never played baseball before. So for center field, basically I want a guy. I know enough about playing Madden or something to where, or maybe that's not even true in this game, but I take a lot of my video game philosophy from the games I play more of. So in Madden, there's a lot of just thresholds you need to meet. You need guys to be above a certain mark, and they happen to use a lot of 5s and 10s numbers. So 85 or 90 Those are big thresholds to hit. So for this guy, all of his green is above 90, which is absolutely massive. He's not going to make errors. He's going to be about as fast as you can get. He's an all-around diamond defender, which is huge. His arm is not only strong, but it's also accurate, which is super helpful for the meter. So if you don't know, his accuracy helps it make it easy to hit the meter on the head more often. And his arm power is what, if you do hit it on the head, how hard is he going to be able to throw? So from center field, I want him to be able to throw anywhere all over the field. That's massive. So there's more than a few cards that can do this, but he's one of these that's 90 above all those things in the green, and he has a ton of secondary positions. So right now he can come in and be, especially like if I have to go to like only season 2 cards, which I think we're like halfway to, if I understand it right, there'll be a point where you can't even use season 1 cards at all anymore. So this guy is super viable for a long time. And even if I get another card that'll be better in center field, he's got all these secondary positions that he can play. He's going to find a place to get plugged into the lineup. And he's a fine enough hitter. I definitely favor guys who have better stats against righties. Kind of don't even see the need for a platoon. You can toss in a couple of pinch hitting, like left-handed guys if you want. But honestly, the computer is not going to probably do a ton of like strategy around that type of stuff that I've seen. So I wouldn't even worry about it, honestly. I just kind of optimize for against righties most of the time and then just deal with it against lefties, or maybe swap out the lineup entirely if I care that much. But you find your guys, you kind of just lock in and use them. Let's see. Mike says, my center fielder is the 98 Mike Yastrzemski. I said earlier in the chat, and that is his primary position. So what are his actual stats? I bet this guy's a better defender, but I'm just guessing. Even though he's not 98 overall, he's probably a better defender. So I would imagine Yastrzemski's better to have at one of his secondary positions, which, like I said, if he's really good, if he's like fast and has a good arm still, I would put him in right. If he's not, I would put him in left, just so that he can make all the throws you need him to make from right field. Just kind of the way the diamond is, that you're going to be throwing more to like second and third. You're not really going to throw to first ever from left field. So that makes it easier to put a guy out there who doesn't have the best arm. Still nice if he's rangy, but a lot of the guys who happen to have a lot of range in the outfield tend to have a good arm too already. So like there's a lot of that. Other quick recommendations I would so hold on before I move on too fast. This is how you get the captain cards too, Mike. So you can see like in season 1 here, this is how far I got into like some of these random different things. So when you get to, so you start way over here and you get these like choice ones, and this is where you get the captains. So you can still go back and complete these. I don't think these ever expire. So you would just need to know which ones to do. And again, it's probably best just to look through on your own. But another, like one of them that I just said not too long ago was Byron Buxton. Buxton he could definitely do a little bit better in contact. But when I use him, I use a bunch of captain cards, and I have the Jeter captain, which gives him a contact boost. So I have better contact than this. But again, look at the defense. Like his reaction isn't ideal, but like just being over 90 and all those other ones, he's like a prime, right fielder or center fielder even, just with all that speed out there too. So kind of massive advantage I see in having especially good, by good, I mean fast. Fielding helps him get a jump, but speed and arm is probably what I look at just as much as fielding, maybe even more. You really want that in center and right from what I've seen on the game. You're going to be making a lot of throws from out there, and you need to cover the ground. So, and they just don't, like a really bad fielder is so noticeable in the outfield. But the infielders are even harder to find. I think I went on that whole tangent to say you can still find guys to plug into the outfield. You get a lot of outfield cards that are at least good bats if you just want to sacrifice defense. In the infield, it is tough to find guys that you like. It is, particularly like a third base, first base even. Like I find that I'm pretty picky about those spots, and especially if you still like defense a lot, the hitters just aren't really there as much, or they're harder to get. They're deeper down the reward path. So I would prioritize picking those guys that you like when you get an option of a prize over other things. So unless you do find maybe one of those like unicorn outfielders, and then pitchers are like a dime a dozen, honestly, kind of no matter who they are so far, in my opinion. I tend to really like these charisma cards that end up being rewards on these team affinity paths too. So the captains are the ones that look like this, and they get the choice. You also get a choice here on the charisma cards. Kind of the whole charisma series, I think, is just full of guys that are awesome. This is probably the least appealing one. I don't use any of these guys, so the wrong division to pick here. But let's say like over here. I mean, like the BGO card I use, that's a charisma guy. Charisma series guy. All these ones that have the same, if they have the same style of card like this, like these are all charisma guys. You can just tell by the look. Same thing with like the ones I said that has all the nicknames on them that are new now in season 2. They're all the same program as well. So you can just tell what program they're in by taking a look. These are all the future star guys. They have this like galaxy looking type of thing with like a ton of glow around them and stuff. Same font on all of them and everything like that. So this season 2 is featuring future stars, which season 1 did not. So we're going to get a lot of like young guys. So there's going to be a lot of speed probably. But this was the only guy I saw at all of them that I was like, oh, that guy could be a legitimate center fielder, like in your lineup. His hitting could be a little bit better, but it's just the defense is worth it to me. And he can sort of steal too. Like he's not that bad. I wouldn't say he's top of the order kind of guy, but he's a good like resetting the order guy at the very bottom. Also, another thing I found on hitters that I like a lot is actually short guys are not, I mean, in baseball, it is kind of an advantage to be short at the plate. Your strike zone is smaller, and I find that to be really easy in the show. Like their swings are just a little crisper. Like these stats all matter for sure, but there's also something about the animation of a swing. And like somebody like an Altuve or something, like his zone is so small, it's easy to get good bat on the ball compared to like I mean, there's some guys who are like notoriously hard to use, like who's the Braves guy, like the first and third Braves guy. Who am I thinking of? Austin Riley. Yeah. Austin Riley is like, he stands up so straight and he's already tall. He's hard to use. So my Diamond Dynasty team I can't use when playing seasons. It only uses some of my players. It never uses my full team. Sorry, for which game mode? For the mini seasons? So for mini seasons, right, okay. Last little thing, then we'll do our spin, I promise, guys. So you can set your squad over here. And this is kind of what will load up in a lot of game modes just naturally. So, and you can also set different versions of this squad. So I kind of have my like show one, my core one that's just made up of core cards. That'll work for any game mode, really. Like it won't kick out cards. I haven't updated that one in a long time though. Then I have this like captains thing, which we pretty much just use, kind of a variation of that. But you can load up those. Those are your squads, but they don't carry over to your mini seasons. So when you go into mini seasons, you go into your single player, your mini seasons. I'll just jump into this one. There's all these different types of seasons you can do in here, for lack of a better term. I'm not going to jump into a game here, but right before the game, you can go to this manage your squad. And this is particularly only for this season that we just entered. This will lock into place. And if I go and play the Cats, it'll be whatever I have here, not whatever I was looking at on that other screen we were just at before. It's only here, and it will only change if I change it here. So anytime, so for game 5, even if I go and do other stuff on a different game mode or other Diamond Dynasty like things, if I go play a ranked game or whatever, and I come back to here, it'll be the same lineup from before that I used in this game that crosses over to this one. And you'll be able to check that too by going to manage squad before you jump in. You can always just check really quick, but you should be able to plug in the same guys. You'll have to manually put them all there and recreate whatever lineup you want. So you have to get used to building your lineups like kind of quickly and efficiently, and kind of almost knowing what you want to use ahead of time if it's possible, and just have like those priorities in your head. But you get really used to it after a while. But like I said, that'll stick here. So anytime you pop into this Team Affinity Season 2 season, it'll already be the same thing that it was the last time you were there. Even if you got new cards though. So it won't optimize for you. You'll have to plug in new cards that you got since the last time you played this season. But that'll also, just to be clear, that'll be separate from this season 2. This season will also do the same thing. So will this one, so will this one, so will this one. They're all separate from one another. And then all of those seasons are all separate from any of these other modes that you could ever go do on like online, or when you do single like Conquest or Showdown or Play versus Computer. It's all separate. I think all of those will default back to your home squad, for lack of a better term. The squad that clicked off of it. This squad that you come to when you're at your home, it'll all default to this, which this isn't even like I don't know. I don't even know what my main team is at this point. It's just different variations of guys all the time because you get into these programs, like I said. I forgot to show you this, but you jump into these things and you see these like you get these like captains, right? You get them pretty early on. Even before then, you get some other guys who can help you build experience from the teams in this division. So if you want to plug them in, that's why they give you these players. You can like get these guys. So yeah, this is actually your first reward. So you hit 5,000 down this track. The first reward you get to just choose some guys. These aren't captains. You get to choose some guys. Let's say you take Ken Giles, who I actually do recommend, veteran pitcher. I use a veteran pitcher bonus, so he was actually very valuable to me. But then you go down, those guys are called henchmen. They're not the captains. They're like lesser rewards along the way to the captains. So you can see if I scroll down, there's Giles right there. These are the guys I meant. Like, you're going to need to get 600 experience with these pitchers. If I took one of the hitters as those reward, they're called henchmen. I would need 200 from Lowe here, and like 200 from Carter, 600 from Castillo because he's a pitcher. So when you get these guys, even if you don't like them, I recommend actually plugging them in on some game mode and just getting them to 200 and then take them out and get rid of them forever, or go put them into a collection, whatever you want to do. But these guys you definitely want to make good use of doing. That's how you mash through these things and you get good rewards quickly. So you're kind of stacking experience for different programs on top of themselves. So yeah, just look ahead which ones you want to actually focus on, and that's my main tip. All right, YouTube, that's going to do it. I've been making the playback people wait long enough as it is. Let's go get our spin done. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Hunting Dubs. A little bit different flow to this one. I enjoyed it. We talked a little news and sports. We got a little bit more into the strategy of Diamond Dynasty, and we're going to try to help Mike out. Maybe one of these times, Mike, will actually take a look at your team, and maybe we'll try to do a little collab or something on that. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. But anyway, thank you for watching. Maybe we'll do more videos where we talk a little bit more about the strategy actually of the video game itself, and not just try to make it just totally like baseball. I don't know. We're messing with formats. We're trying different stuff all the time. But thank you for being here. Thank you, YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, like the video, hit the bell icon to get notifications for whenever we go live, so you can get yourself onto the wheels where we will do our giveaways on Playback, which we're going to go do right now. So see you on Playback. Bye, y'all.